Okay, we're going to film us here.
Okay. Where do we want to start?
Well, no, you just said, Catch Me If You Can. You were
Well,
telling me about
I
the
was
film.
just watching this video that Frank Abagnale did and he's the subject of the movie Catch Me If You Can.
Okay.
He had, in his youth, stolen a lot of checks and things.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Uh-huh.
Well, he was talking on this video. He says Americans are really, really trusting people. So if somebody
they are.
calls you up and
Yeah.
says, "Oh, what's your social security number so I can check the blah blah,"
Yeah.
and or the last 4 digits is what they say. The last 4 digits, and you think, well, what can they do with that?
Yeah.
And then you give it to them, and then they're chatting with you like, oh, your accent is really nice. Well, you're from the South, aren't you? Oh yeah, I was born in Louisiana. Well, that just tells them where to find the first 3 digits of your social security number.
That's right. That's right.
And then there was something else, and I was like, yeah, we do think that. We do think,
Yeah.
well, what can they do with that?
Yeah.
But,
Well, they can do a lot. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the dangerous part.
but we
yeah.
got into this conversation because we were talking about the thing that we say at the end of
Yes,
all of
we
our
always
videos.
say at the end, take care of yourself
Because
nobody else
will.
will. And we were worrying that was kind of a negative, and I don't think so. I think that we want to talk more on our videos about that subject, about being taken advantage of and being too trusting.
Yeah.
That's a really big deal for us. It has been all of our lives, both of us, taken advantage of. I tend to attract narcissists, and it's like my girlfriend said to me. I was telling her how I've had 34 jobs in 23 years, and now that I look back, I realize it was all narcissism, and I was telling her that, and she's just a sweet, unassuming gal that hardly ever says anything, and she went, "Well, isn't that kind of your fault?" And I said, "You know what? You're right. No, I was going to get to that. It is my fault. I attract them, and I need to learn how not to attract them." So these are going to be later videos that we are going to soldier on in. So, we'd love your opinion on that little saying, or how you felt that you've ever been taken advantage of. Yeah, I just, corporate America just screwed me up so much with taking care of myself. I mean, it really is, it's based on, there's no reason to take care of yourself. You take care of the company.
Yeah, because that's what we're paying you for. We're not paying you to be sick. We're not paying you to take a vacation. You're here to do what we need you to do.
Right,
And if you don't
right.
do that, there's 100 other people who would be just
I
thrilled
know,
to get their job.
that's exactly it. Well, nowadays, that's not true anymore, is it?
Well,
Yeah, we have so many openings and no people. My girlfriend moved here from Minnesota here to Arizona, and she said, "What is wrong with Arizona?" She said, "There are no cashiers when you go into the store. There are no, and I'm like, well, yeah, that seems to be a problem that we have. I thought everybody was having that, but I could be wrong."
but yeah, you were saying earlier about when you got sick and you were like,
Yes,
I need to
yeah.
go home. And what did they say? They're like,
"You look fine. What's the problem?" I said, and so I finally, I'm like 20 something, and I'm going, I always look fine. So what is the problem here? There's no issue.
no, I got to the point at sometime, us being actors.
Yes,
I,
she came up with a great idea.
I
Holy
did my
crap.
makeup so I looked like crap. I'd leave the dark circles that I always have under my eyes. Now, you can see the bags, but it looks worse without the makeup because the dark circles show. So I would leave those, and I would not put on any blush, and I would make myself just look so wan and pale, and
Good. Man, I
don't
majored
feel
in
good.
theater, and I couldn't act my way out of a paper bag. I mean, geez.
they'd be
I
like,
never
"Oh,
thought
go home."
I know. Yeah, get away from us, but no, I think it didn't work for me. And I remember, I think I had one supervisor early on in my life who was like, if you're sick, then you need to go home. I needed permission to do something
Yeah.
in my mind. Now that's
yeah.
a problem with me.
Well, I had the same problem.
Yeah. So I feel like, ooh.
But like I said, it got to a point where I just didn't care anymore. I was like, you know what? I got angry is what I got. And so when I get angry, I got passive aggressive. So that's
a
where
good one.
That's where the makeup came in with the, I'm sick.
That
Even if
is
I wasn't
great,
sick, I would do
though.
it. So
I
just
mean,
so
I
I can have
majored
a
in
day off.
theater and never dawned on me to make my makeup work. Of course, I always played ingenue roles. At that time in my life, I was always playing myself, and so I probably didn't think of the fact that makeup, I could have made myself bleed to death. You know?
There were some things place I was in where I actually, like, I just remember this one where this guy had to look like he was beaten up and he had his arm in a sling and everything. So I used blue eyeshadow and made big black eyes for
Oh
him and
wow!
stuff,
Oh
so.
wow! That's cool. I worked with. I did Dracula, and we worked with blood. There's blood everywhere. Blood capsules, blood paint. You know, and there's just all this ooey gooey stuff, and yeah. So it's been a ride. I will say that much. It's been fun.
All this is to say, you know, like we were saying, you need to take care of yourself because nobody else will, especially in the corporate world. And especially, you know, I will say office work is a great gig to have. If you think about it.
No, I enjoyed it thoroughly. I just didn't like people taking advantage of me
Exactly,
and
but
not
that's-
having any respect for me.
And that is the problem
Yeah.
with office work, is that
Yeah.
you get a lot of the higher ups, they see you as just a cog in the wheel. So that's where this comes from with us, with
Yeah.
the take care of yourself.
Yeah,
So,
we're the cheap help.
yeah.
And unfortunately, I had a woman speak that into my life a long time ago. So let's delete that and release that because I'm not the cheap help. I've decided later in my life now I just want to be a high maintenance woman. I'm done with this, you know, disrespect and not. I don't know. It's just.
Well, there are times that you'll find someone who does appreciate you. Like one of my last office jobs before I went off into poverty, my boss really appreciated me. In fact, he said he hired me because on the test that I took, it was a typing test, I corrected the errors that the person who put the test together made. So he appreciated me and everything I did for him. And he really was one of the people that helped me on my way towards getting more confidence because he appreciated me. And that was lacking in my life.
I will say
So-
most of the appreciative ones that I did work for were men.
Women can be so nasty.
They really can. I'm sure there's tons of research in that we can look into and why that is an issue. But I know they're kind of petty.
And they're jealous.
Oh.
If you do something better than them, it doesn't matter if it's something that's not part of their job description.
yes.
They
so
still
jealous.
they're angry. They
They're
get
very
angry
jealous.
about it.
Yep.
They try to sabotage you.
Yep. Oh, that's a big one is sabotage.
That's where I learned about office politics. You can't be nice to people like that. You
Yeah.
know, it's like when I was bullied in junior high school. It's like when you get in the office world, you're thinking, "Oh, these are adults." Blah blah
Yes,
blah.
yeah.
And then one of
That'll
them slaps you down, and you're like, "Okay, it's junior high school all
It
over again.
is.
I will
That
just
was
keep
a-
my mouth
yes.
shut
Yes.
and do my work and not."
That was a big one.
socialize.
High school all over again too. I was like, wow, we did not grow up. What is the problem here? I'm missing something.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think admins have to be smarter than the average bear because there's so many things that we correct, we fix, we problem solve, we do all of this stuff for these people, and we do it with such ease because we're so good at it that I think people take advantage of that.
Of course they do.
Yeah, and they don't realize that they can't do it.
And that comes into your other projects as a sign too, because they
As
think
assumed,
you're so
yes.
good at this, you can do this
Yeah,
here.
yep.
So you're so good at typing and correcting
Organizing.
errors and things
Yep.
that you can change the oil in my car for me, can't you?
yeah, you'll figure it out. That's how that works.
Because you're so good.
Yeah, I know. It's
And then they use that as an excuse too when they don't want to do something. It's like, "Oh, can you do this for me?" And you look at them like,
and they go, because you're so much better at it than I
"Yes."
am. Yeah, that's that. I'm sorry. You know, we see you coming. We see you coming, and we know. I know that's. I don't know. There must be 80% of the population that falls for that. Because
I used
obviously,
to fall for it
I
once or twice.
I
and
think
then
I did
like,
when
"No."
I was 20.
I was 19.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I was 19 too. Yeah,
yeah.
I think that would be it. I know that's a strategy to compliment and then tell somebody what's wrong. You know, just say, oh, you're so amazing at what you do. However, we could maybe do this better or whatever. And it doesn't work for me.
No.
It doesn't work for me because I think I'm hung up on the false positive and then to deal with the negative. I get hung up on the false positive. It's like, I really wasn't expecting, I don't need to hear that things went well. I know if they did. And if I didn't know, I wouldn't do it. You know, it wouldn't work out.
Do you remember WKRP in Cincinnati?
Yes.
With Jennifer?
Yes.
That is who I always aspired to be in an office, because there was one episode where Herb was trying to get her to type a letter. And he says, well, you're typing this or whatever. And she says, that's different. And he says, well, that's part of your job description. She says, no, I am a receptionist. Receptionists receive. They provide comfort and all this stuff. They do not type. And I thought, that is so great, because receptionists are one of the most taken advantage of.
Very much. Very, very much. Yeah, because they feel, my favorite, okay, so here's my favorite story from working for a bank, and I will mention names, Citicorp Person to Person, in Edina, Minnesota. And I was a receptionist. I had been an executive secretary before. It was hard to find jobs at that time, and we had a lot of layoffs. I ended up getting a temp job at Citicorp. And I was sitting in the receptionist position there at the front door. We had mortgage people, we had the tellers, we had other people sitting behind us. So I had one of those, okay, this is, ancient history, a million years ago. I had one of those magnetic typewriters that had the memory card in them.
I remember those.
Yeah. So what I found happened is people, the minute I was not typing, now here I am, the receptionist, sorting the mail, doing some other activities other than just typing, and people would come up to me and go, "Do you have nothing to do?" Because I wasn't typing. So I typed into the magnetic card, and I played it back all day long. I just kept playing it while I was over here sorting the mail, because I had this, L-shaped desk. So I'm sorting the mail over here. These people are right over there. They don't even notice that I'm not typing. I'm not near the typewriter.
They heard it.
They heard it. That was good enough. Nobody looked up.
See, that was clever of you, because I wouldn't have thought of that.
That was a sad story, though.
Isn't
That should not have happened. But people are so gullible. And, but I thought, this is the craziest thing. I have all these jobs to do. And, just because I'm not making noise constantly doesn't mean it's not. And I think maybe now looking back, I think there might have been, I worked for Valspar Paints. I think that might have been an issue there, because they had all the secretaries, as we were then called, out in the hallway, and we were all pretty much typing quite a lot. But then there were times I had the gentleman that I worked for, I was putting together books for him for his training sessions. And so, yeah, you're not typing, you're sorting and putting books together. And it was really interesting. It was very, I think back then, too, it's too bad I didn't have the memory typewriter there.
They would bother you then, too?
Oh, they just, I would get there early so I could get work done, and people would come in, and they were mad at me because I wouldn't say hello to them.
That happened to me at the hellhole that I worked at a few years back in 2012. My boss was the vice president of the company. His wife was the president. She hated me, and that's why I left. But one time he said to me, why don't you ever come in and say hello and chit-chat and stuff? And I almost got in trouble for that, but my HR director backed me up on this. I said, well, I come from the legal field. Yeah. You do not chit-chat. You get at your desk and you start to work right away. Right. And the HR was like, yeah, that's true. Yeah. So I had to learn how to chit-chat and waste time.
I did too. I had to learn how, and it was really annoying. And, it's like I told one of the other secretaries there, I belonged to, now I don't know what they're called now, it was Professional Secretaries
Association.
They had an event where we could go and hear more about sexual harassment in the workplace, back when that first became a thing. And I went to one of the other secretaries and I said, would you like to go to this sexual harassment seminar with me? And she said, well, if you ask me, there's not enough of it around here. So that was that was the end of that effort there, that invitation. I get it, but I did. There was a lot of sexual harassment when I was younger. Before they started making that a thing. I still have proof. I still have letters that people wrote me. I remember things that they said. Oh yeah. It's really kind of incredible. It really is. you know, I was young and dumb and excited and strong, and it didn't, you know, affect me. I was good at saying no, so that wasn't a problem. Learned how to handle it and take it in stride. I know they don't do that anymore, so I think we're kind of wimping out a little bit too with our. I mean, there's sexual harassment, and then there's sexual harassment. I mean, I don't know. What do you think?
I think that, well,
I know what you think, but I mean, what do you think?
yeah, well, about today's world, I think that a lot of it is, to me, okay,
Okay.
I'll probably get zinged for this, but to me, the whole Me Too thing is because a lot of people want to be Me Too. You know, like, I want to be one of those.
Yes, yes.
So, you know, people misunderstand things, and people will jump on any little thing. Like if you
Yes,
say, "Oh,
yes.
that's a pretty dress you're wearing today," sexual harassment.
Yeah, they do. They
know,
do. Yeah.
and that's not what sexual harassment is.
No, that's not. That's not at all. Now, I think if you feel something, I did have a girlfriend that had trouble. There was a guy at church that would. He loved hugging us girls. I think that, you know, and I knew his wife, and you know, I grew up with his kids, and we all did. And but I think that was just him. Some people are touch oriented. They, you know, they
My
want to
dad
touch
was
you.
like that.
Yeah, they're gonna, you know, touch your arm. They're gonna touch you. And she did complain and ask that he not, you know, be around her and that kind of thing, and she stayed away from him. But I think there's some personal issue there,
Yeah,
because
but-
he was a very sweet man, and I don't think he ever meant anything by that.
That's not, I mean, sexual harassment would be if he's holding you too long, if he's putting
Yeah.
his hands in inappropriate places.
Yes, yes.
That's sexual harassment. If he's saying, "Oh,"
Asking you
know.
the color of your underwear,
Would
that's
you-
a
yeah.
little much. Yeah.
although actually when I worked at the music store, because I wear yellow, all yellow, this one guy
Oh,
asked
no.
me, "So is your underwear yellow too?" And I
Okay,
said,
that's
"What do
very
you think?"
specific. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we had when I worked for cable TV as a customer service supervisor, we had our room, and then right next door was a small room for the what were they? The collections department to collect on the bills, and then you would walk through their office to get to the other office, which was the techs, the guys who went out and fixed things. And you could also go outside and go down the hall to get to any of these guys, but it was easier for us to just run through this room. And apparently the three guys in there, these were award-winning collections, people from like Visa, American Express. They were very, very good. They taught me a lot. And one of our gals just constantly was reporting them, because whenever she would go through there, they would be telling off-color jokes to each other. And it's like, but it's not directed at you. And there's another way you can go around. And I mean, you know, it's like, well, okay, let's look at it. I had trouble with boys at school, in elementary school, just being really rude and disgusting and grossing me out, which is what boys do at that age. But and
every
that's
age.
right. Thank you. Yeah, that's true. My mom called the school, and the principal said, "Well, boys will be boys," and that was the end of that. So I mean, we've had this going on for ages and ages, yeah, and it just does, unfortunately, it just does not go away.
True.
It is true.
So that's another reason why you need to take care of yourself.
You do,
because-
and we want to do more of these videos and helping you to love yourself. Believe me, that was not an easy one for me. I didn't understand that concept. I'm a people pleaser. I was raised that way. I problem solve. I do everything for everybody else. And I'm here to tell you, don't do that. If you can help yourself at all, please don't do that. Be the high maintenance woman, please, please. I'm sure there's some value
well,
there.
I don't know.
There's got to be, there's got to be a happy medium.
Happy medium.
Happy medium
Because
between
some
the two.
high maintenance women are just, they irritate the crap out of me.
Yeah, they can be very irritating. And honestly, I don't know that I've been amazed at watching how women get what they want. You know, it's like, well, I want this, and I'm not going to be happy until I get it. And I'm thinking, wow, really? That's the tack that you want to take? Go get it yourself.
Well, that's where I come from. I come from I'm going to do it all myself. I don't need somebody else coming in here
right.
and being a pain in my hiney, just so I can get this thing. No, I'm gonna do it my way.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I totally agree. And I'm like, wow, it's just, it amazes me. And we are probably going to talk about Asperger's as well, because that's, that's going to be more,
It touches our lives.
very much, very much on many levels.
But speaking of high maintenance women, I did want to say one thing.
I gotta hear this.
One guy that I dated one time, I had acrylic nails, and he called me high maintenance because of that.
Oh my God. Well, there we go. See, I caught on. I know now.
Yeah, so you're getting to be high maintenance.
I am.
You're on your way.
I'm well on my way. I've got my bonnet to put over my curlers. I'm good. Alrighty. Well, as we always say, take care of yourself because nobody else will. Bye.